what do you think the final scoreline will be at the end of the game at Old Trafford?
3-1. Harry Maguire to score for Man United.
Who go win now?
Man City will win 3-1.
Okay.
Harry Maguire will get the consolation goal.
And we are back with another episode of Naija Football Talk, and this time around, it's a banger. We have 3 very important matches that are about to take place this weekend. I mean, this is one of the biggest weekends of football in the 2023-24 season, and we've been waiting for so long for it. The Manchester Derby, Manchester United versus Manchester City, the El Clasico, Barcelona versus Real Madrid, and Milan versus Napoli. Unfortunately, our star boy Victor Osimhen is not going to be there because he's recuperating from injury. But at the same time, that is a match that everybody in Italy will be paying attention to. Welcome once again to Naija Football Talk. My name is Chima, and today we will be discussing all of this and more. And as usual, I have my co-conspirators with me, Bolu and Kolade. Thank you guys for doing this again. Thank you guys for doing this with me. How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're good.
So this time around, we're not focusing on your team, so there will be a little bit of sanity on the set. Anyway, all right. So when we come back from this short break, we'll be going straight into the gist of the day. Stay with us. This video is sponsored by upoker.net, an online poker platform that is just making waves in Nigeria. uPoker is globally acclaimed, but right now it is making inroads into the Nigerian gaming market. It's a game you can play at leisure with your friends, and it's a game that you can use to connect with lots of poker players around the world. Who knows, with uPoker, you can become so proficient to the point that you can participate in the Poker World Cup. Make sure you download uPoker on all your favorite app stores and even on your PCs, and enjoy the game of poker with your friends and with players from around the world. All right, so we're talking about 3 of the biggest games from this weekend. There are a lot of games that are going to be happening anyway. I mean, Arsenal is going to be in action after defeating Sevilla at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan, and Kolade has not let us hear the last of it. Unfortunately, Chelsea were resting at home. They cannot relate.
Chelsea will still win the Champions League this season. You'll still win the Champions League.
Okay, the UEFA
Chima, please, let's move on. Let's move on.
Realize that my girls are the defending champions.
Okay,
let's
move on. Let's move on to serious
going to win it again.
All right, now let's see how it goes anyway.
Why are you speaking?
Let's move on to serious things, my brother. Let's move on.
Anyway, so let's start with one of the biggest games in the Premier League this weekend, the Manchester Derby. At this point, I don't really know if it's, in my opinion, if it's a big game, because these days we don't
Chima,
really.
what are you
saying?
We
don't really expect Eric Ten Hag to, do anything. But football is a funny sport.
What's he on about?
Football is a funny sport. I mean, this may be the time that Eric Ten Hag may just pull out the rabbits. Onana saved the penalty during their Champions League. Harry Maguire scored. So who knows? Because football is a funny sport. Something can happen. So let's have your preview of the game. What do you think? Did you see another Onana masterclass?
To be fair, like I always say, when it's time for big games, form goes out of the way. Yeah. It's down to who wants that game more. And if we go back memory lane, in fact, I have seen worse Manchester United teams beat City. City in particular, United always know how to get a result against City. And this is a City side that have already lost twice to Wolves and Arsenal this season. They've kept only 3 clean sheets in 13 games across all competitions, meaning their defense is not as resolute as before. But for Manchester United, my worry for them is, are they scoring enough? I think they've won all their games by only one goal margin all through this season. So I still see City nicking a win.
And speaking of Manchester United's goal scoring problems, Rasmus Højlund is approaching 007
in the Premier League.
In the Premier League, our James Bond.
Thank God, though. Kai Havertz has left that WhatsApp group.
He's approaching 007. So, do you think his poor scoring form in the league is down to him or his teammates? Because there's always a lot of talk about Manchester United players not supporting enough.
Well, I think it's down to the whole team as a whole. They've not been at their best this season. They've been very poor. And as Kolade just said, all the games they won by 1 goal only. But we've also seen, we've seen Højlund's performances. You can't fault, even from his debut against Arsenal, he came on for a few minutes and, showed his quality. So his quality is no doubt. He has scored in the Champions League. He scored twice against Bayern. So, you can't fault his quality. It's just the time will come, the goal will
international
come.
break,
He also scored. So I mean, the goal will come definitely in Premier League. It will come for him. But
Yeah,
it might just not be this 007.
Yeah, well, it will come anyway, but it looks like he's going to hit that 007. I'm very sure that Eric Ten Hag will be worried about how he can get the young man up and running, because in his first season to go that long without scoring a goal is going to tell on his confidence a little bit. And let's move over to Manchester City at the moment. Of recent, like you mentioned, 2 losses, although they've started bouncing back. Erling Haaland too has started scoring once again. But there was talk about winners' fatigue being a problem. They don't too win, they don't too carry cup. They don't sabi win again. Is that does that really make any sense to you, considering how they are playing?
I don't think it makes sense, but the way I like to see it is that getting to the top is very easy, but staying at the top is the difficult part. So City they are victims of their own standards. I mean, losing a game is not a bad thing, but when Man City lose a game, it becomes news all over because they are Manchester City. So I think their standards has become so high that people don't expect as much as City to lose a game. People can't imagine a fixture where Wolves beat City, but these are the things that can actually happen. So I don't really think fatigue is getting to them. Teams are just also stepping up, and we are just not able to see City keep up with those standards. It's very difficult to keep up. It's very difficult.
That's something I didn't ever think I would hear with regards to City.
Yeah, you can't keep up. You can't keep up with a perfect standard all through the season. It's not possible.
No, true. Anyway, I mean, you guys are the prime example of it. After 94% of the season at the top. Una go bottle. I mean, that's not bottling company. Anyway, let's move over to Manchester.
Good thing it didn't come from me.
Let's move over to Manchester United now. McTominay is currently one of their most prominent players in the past few weeks now, and there's argument about the young man getting more minutes. So, do you think it's a valid argument? And if he does, how do you see him playing? Is there going to be a Mark Amrabat, a Mark Casemiro, just like there was a Mark Fred last time around?
Well, for McTominay, it's a very funny situation because now he's proving clutch. But do you really want to be starting McTominay in big games? Because
Manchester United
he's being exposed in a way. Against Sheffield, he scored a goal, yes. A few minutes later, give a penalty away. Yeah. And, his technical deficiencies are still showing, apparently, to Manchester United fans. I think some of them would rather still prefer him to come off the bench and try to, be clutch than start the game and potentially spoil the game. So it's a very funny situation for him. And funny enough, a few weeks ago, we're saying his best position is probably as a striker right now because he's just not the kind of midfielder you want at a top club playing in defensive midfield.
There was a time that these people were telling us that he was better than Busquets. God, you people have sinned in this life. Anyway, so let's talk about predictions.
They must always make everything about themselves.
Because we are at the top of the world. What do you mean?
What world?
Anyway, let's make
top of the broke clubs.
What do you think the final scoreline will be at the end of the game at Old Trafford?
3-1. Harry Maguire to score for Man United.
Who go win now?
Man City will win 3-1.
Okay.
Harry Maguire
will
get the consolation.
I mean, there are some things that happened in recent times that Harry Maguire being touted as a goal scorer. Man, what are your predictions, Bolu? Or what is your prediction?
City to win convincingly. 2-0.
Okay. Still the same two.
But those kind of 2-0 that it feels like 4, 5, 6. But it was just too respectful.
They don't chop their eye.
Yeah, respectful 2-0.
It's all good. Maybe Haaland will get both goals, Abi.
Possibly, or he and Alvarez.
Let's see how it goes. Make sure you catch our FPL show so that you can get more tips on, the kind of selections to make ahead of this game week. When we come back, we'll be going straight into the Clasico. Stay with us. All right. So we finished discussing about the Manchester United versus Manchester City. Although the discussion will continue in our comment section, make sure you tell us what you think about the game and how you think it's going to turn out. Now it's time for El Clasico, Barcelona versus Real Madrid. A lot of stories have gone down surrounding this fixture in past years. And now there's a new story where we have Jude Bellingham versus the youngsters, the La Masia boys, the child labor the child labor that Xavi is using, to try and save my team season.
You mean Bellingham's junior brothers? People that are meant to like 3-4 years younger than Bellingham. Even though Bellingham is still a young player.
It's going to be quite a history making match as far as I'm concerned, because
Chima,
this is going to be one of the
youngest. There's nothing historic about
it.
It's a random football match between Barcelona.
Don't lie to yourself. There's no history here. Carry on.
The game that I'd rather watch Crystal Palace versus Brighton.
Yes.
That's Barca, this your Clasico is living on Ronaldo and Messi glory.
At the end of the day, you guys will tune in to see what will happen.
Who is tuning in?
I
would rather watch Crystal Palace Brighton.
You will tune in. Don't worry. Anyway, so the Clasico is coming up. So let's just talk a little bit about the game. Bolu, let's preview the match.
Well, both teams, Barca is still unbeaten. Real Madrid have lost one big game.
Say it again.
Real Madrid have lost one big game only to Atletico. So it looks like this is the game where Barca are finally going to lose this season. Bellingham is just clutch. Vinicius and Rodrigo have also been amongst the goals recently. So, they might be able to work something out. It's Ancelotti, let's not forget. And he also has his experienced midfield boys still on the bench, Modric and Kroos. So, Real Madrid potentially can still do something. And for pride, the fact that they've lost this season, Barca are still unbeaten, I think they would want to spoil that record for them. And it will really boost their confidence, because as of right now, they're behind on the table. They need to get that psychological advantage back. And, I think it will be a very good game, actually, because Barcelona are also, they're in form. They have a lot of injured players right now. They're probably a wounded animal, but that won't make it any easier for Real Madrid. It's going to be an exciting game nonetheless. Actually, probably one of the most exciting El Clasicos in a while.
I like that you mentioned it, and another reason why I also think it's going to be as exciting as a lot of people expect it to be is Bellingham, who we've been mentioning for so long on the channel, and and all of that, because the young man is currently one of the most exciting talents in world football. It's like I don't think he's not as big as Ronaldo anyway, but it's almost that big. Like, imagine someone who is this highly rated playing in one of the biggest games in the world.
Talking about early impact, he has actually even scored more than Ronaldo did in his first 10 games.
Exactly. So that all of these things are some of the factors that will make it exciting. So Bellingham playing in El Clasico, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think he's going to make a big splash, or will he be kept quiet like Ronaldo was in his first game?
Definitely think he's going to make his mark on that game. It looks like a game where he's going to make his mark. And seeing the way Bellingham is playing, he's playing with so much confidence. I don't even think he has a fixed role. He's just enjoying himself in that midfield, going box to box, just running around and pulling the strings. I can definitely see him scoring a goal.
They are playing him similarly to how they used to play Zidane back in the day.
I can definitely see him scoring a goal.
Yeah.
I can see him scoring a goal. And for me, on a normal day, I would have gone with Barca, but based on the injured players, I think we might do the nick it.
Interesting. Okay, so how do you think Xavi can, prevent that from happening? Because obviously we're at home.
He can't prevent it.
He can't
prevent
it. Madrid will not come and ask
they will chop
no be today now.
They don't come and ask on wins.
No be today they come and ask on
beat you. Talk with my full chest. Okay, let me
is it Lama?
If they give it to go coach.
Is it Yami, 15, 16-year-old boy?
Suffered. All right, let's hear your predictions then.
2-1. Real Madrid to win 2-1.
Okay.
I agree with Kolade 2-1.
Real Madrid to win 2-1. Anyway, I won't make my predictions, but I'm going to join you guys in the comment section to make my predictions.
This man at the backroom staff, I don't know what he's saying.
One of my
fellow
backroom
fans
staff has his own opinion, but I'm very sure we'll find him in the comments too, because these guys have been capping a lot. Anyway, let's move on quickly to Napoli versus AC Milan before we wrap up the show, because we don't have too much time. Unfortunately, like we said, Victor Osimhen is not available for this game, and it saddens us that we'll not be able to see our star boy try to finally break his duck against Milan, because he hasn't scored as many as we would have expected him to score against them. In fact, he has a bad habit of ghosting in these types of games, and this time around he's literally ghosting because he no go dey pitch. But let's talk about the game. What do you think is going to happen in that game?
I think Napoli are not their usual Napoli. They are not their usual selves, and their position in the league pretty much explains that story. And the further absence of Osimhen is going to be a major blow for them psychologically. Although I don't think it's a case of no Osimhen, no party, because in the presence of Kvara, Zielinski, Politano, they still have other names. Yeah, Raspadori. They have other names that can easily do what Osimhen can do. Obviously,
easily.
And I was going there. They are
Easily.
a weaker side. They are a weaker side without Osimhen, no doubt. But if it's about goals, they have enough players that can score goals without Osimhen.
Well, anyway, because their current number 9, who is Cholo Simeone's son, Giovanni, is not all that, in my opinion. He hasn't really stepped up whenever he had to, whenever Osimhen was absent. So the whole goal scoring body now will be on the shoulders of Vara, Politano, Raspadori, and all of that. And let's see how they can, put everything together without Osimhen. But speaking of how they've been playing so far, one of the biggest factors contributing to that is Rudy Garcia. The manager has been, below par. So do you think that this particular match is like, his final chance?
Well, Garcia has had so many issues since he became Napoli boss. Osimhen's issue, the whole social media thing, was also one of the distractions. But funnily enough, since Osimhen got injured, they've actually won the 2 games since then, and they've scored a number of goals. But this is the kind of game where you actually need a focal point. You need your biggest players that can pull something out of nothing, and Garcia will be missing that in Osimhen. And it's also unfortunate for him that Milan also lost to PSG 3-0 in the Champions League. So Milan are very angry. And I remember when Milan lost to Inter in the derby 5-1, they kept clean sheets for like the next couple of games. They didn't lose until this PSG game. So they're going to be angry again. I just don't see Napoli being able to beat Milan.
Interesting. So what do you think is the final score line?
AC Milan 2, Napoli 1.
Wow. Yours?
Napoli 1, AC Milan 0.
Napoli will win. Let us know your thoughts on this match, and let us also know your thoughts on all the matches that we've previewed on this episode of Naija Football Talk. The Manchester Derby, El Clasico, and Milan versus Napoli. They are very interesting matches that I'm very sure that all of us will be trying to, follow, because, it's a weekend of football. Let us know what you think about these games. Let us know what you think about this video. Share, like, and subscribe if you are a first-time viewer of the channel. And make sure you click on the notification icon so that you don't miss any new videos that we post. Thank you once again to our sponsors, upoker.net. And thank you so much for watching this episode of Naija Football Talk. Until we come your way with another beautiful one, my name is Chima. Stay jiggy.